the second best thing to almost making me throw up. So the Treadmill of Doom is a very simple. All you do is you hop on a treadmill and you set it on setting Doom. And setting Doom is 10 incline.
Nice.
10 speed.
Dude, TikTok, I feel like these kids are too young to be on TikTok.
Yeah, they don't understand the concept. They don't understand the consequences of their actions.
They don't get it. They're too young. Those teeny boppers.
Whippersnappers.
We get it. We're
only
old.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson knows how to use TikTok.
Dwayne?
Yeah, I don't even know that.
Is he on TikTok?
I don't know. He probably should, though.
He should be on TikTok.
Within like one video, he'll have like 3 million followers.
Yeah, he's a little douchebag. Nah, I'm just kidding. I like him.
Shout out to Dwayne. We're live.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. You gotta do the intro or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 45 of the Rescue Swimmer Mindset Podcast. Cool. Your hosts, Vince and Cody, today. All right. Welcome, Cody, to the Rescue Swimmer Mindset Podcast. I love that you started it, and I'm welcoming you to your own podcast.
Yeah, it's like,
suck it.
Got nice coffee. Is that like, what kind of mug is that?
This is a Bah Humbug mug. So, yeah.
Oh.
I'm like Mr. Scrooge. Oh, it's not focusing.
I don't know what that is. It seems like an old reference.
Mr. Scrooge? Like Scrooge from the Christmas?
No.
You never saw like the Donald Duck version of Mr. Scrooge?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's good.
It was alright.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to everyone. We are currently September 24th.
I think it's roughly 97 days till Christmas.
I'm counting down. I have the mega chocolate box. Remember, like you had that as kids, the little chocolate box, and like you count down once December starts, and you just eat a chocolate. I have that starting in September.
Yeah, it starts January 1st. It's a whole calendar. Just chocolate. You just eat chocolate every day.
I got a chocolate a day. But dude, by the time you hit December, boy, oh boy, you hope you didn't have some hot summer months because it just becomes like you got a fudge at the end of December. Totally. Scooping it out of cardboard. Dude, those chocolates always tasted like cardboard. Ugh.
Honestly, I thought they were delicious.
I thought so too.
Isn't it Advent calendar? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
You don't even know?
That's like Jewish folks have like their 9 days till Hanukkah, but we have our 25 days of chocolate.
Yeah, we get like triple the amount of days.
Oh boy. All right. So what's current before we dive into what we're going to talk about today? What's current in the news?
Oh, the news? Well, I wanted to see how that move went cross country. How was that drive?
Oh yeah. Okay. So good old Vinny Two Crocs, as I'm renowned on the grams, has traveled. Basically, I was already in Squamish, but I had to go back to get my appliances. So I drove, about 2,000. I'm going to just guesstimate 2,000 at least kilometers to get my microwave. It seemed cost efficient. Nice. So I flew out to.
You forgot the toaster.
Yeah, so I flew out there, and then I forgot the toaster. I got to go back with the truck. So I flew out there and I moved things over here in Squamish in a 26-foot long truck. And so, like, if you guys ever like drove a U-Haul truck, it's like the big rig U-Haul, except it's like built in the 90s. And it's funny, there's like barely any gears, but there's a little switch that goes like, it's like nitro. You push the switch when you're going uphill. Anyway, so we filled up a 26-foot truck and I drove from like Montreal area all the way to Vancouver. So for all you folks, that's like from driving more or less from Maine all the way to Washington State. And the only difference is like in Canada, instead of like in America, that would be like 12 states that you would drive through. In Canada, it's like, I think it's like 4 provinces. So it gets to be long before you get to a different province. And, I mean, you and I, we were in Michigan, and like, what were your thoughts on Michigan?
My thoughts on Michigan?
Yeah.
Not a great place.
Not a great place. Ontario is Canada's version of Michigan. And except it's like 5 times wider than Michigan. And you're just driving through that, and it's just the endless journey through like marshlands of nothing.
We used to fly over Ontario a lot, like for SAR. It's because Ontario is where you go over to get towards like Niagara and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like, I just remember, I mean, it just looks like farmland, just nothing.
Yeah. And that's the cooler part of Ontario, to be honest. If you're going towards like Niagara Falls, at least there's that. But where we were, it's like the Canadian outback without any mountains or hills. Except, we saw a wolf.
Really?
I don't know. My girlfriend says we saw a wolf, but I believe we saw like a coy wolf, I think they call it. You know what that is? Like a coyote wolf. It's like It's like when a little cute coyote mixes with a jacked up wolf.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was kind of like, because it looked a little small to be a wolf, but definitely way too big to be a coyote. So it was probably like a
I didn't know they had like wolves up in that area.
I didn't know either, but we looked it up, and apparently there's a shitload of sightings right there in that area in Ontario. So we saw a coy wolf or a wolf, and then we saw grizzlies. We just saw the whole range of we saw grizzlies in like Alberta.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, we saw some in Ontario.
All right.
We took the wrong tour.
Not moving there.
Yeah. Hey, how's our training circle going on Facebook?
Training circle, actually pretty sick. It's so we just like this morning we hit like just over 100 members. I think we're at like 101 now.
Right.
So it's kind of growing pretty quick. Started a new thing. Basically, it's like RSM training circle. What do we call it? RSM challenge. So I started this like Sunday. I don't even know do you know about this yet? Have you seen this?
I heard about you talking about it.
Yeah. But yeah, basically what we're gonna do is like once a week, like Sunday night, one of us like we'll post like a challenge. So this week is like just take a PT test and you post your PT test results, and everyone.
Nice.
So far, like we got a bunch of people who like post their results and like just talking about it, ways to improve and stuff in the comment section. And then I'm thinking next week we're gonna do like a plank challenge. So just like max plank. And the thing is, you have to submit your time by Thursday night. And there's no prizes or anything right now. It's all for fun. But maybe if it gets a little bigger, we'll come up with like some sort of prize or some way to reward people. But max plank is gonna be legit. I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I want to try it too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be shameful. Be next week. I don't do the plank that much. Like to be honest, I usually abs are just kind of included within my workouts, but it's not usually necessarily always something I work on. Though I do sometimes. Like I have my like little routine there you saw with like leg lifts and stuff. But
yeah. I think like I've never done a max plank, but I don't know. Like I'm thinking maybe like I'm gonna guess I get 5 minutes.
You get 5 minutes? I'm gonna guess I can get up to 4. But the thing is, people, when we do this max plank challenge, you gotta have like some integrity and a little honor here. If your butt's going down or your back's like starting to really arch, or your butt's going down.
I'm gonna film myself do it, and I'm just gonna post it to the training circle and be like, "This is what we got to do." And if you cheat, like if you sag, you can sag a little bit because that's not really helping you that much.
Yeah.
But if you're like cheating with the butt, you're done. Like
that's it. No need to be like a friggin' Nazi about it, but you know when you're kind of off, you're like, all right, I'm totally caving in here. Yeah. There's so many. I got little tricks up my sleeve.
I think the max, like I'm thinking the winner's going to be around 10 minutes.
I think the world record is about 2. I think it's like a day.
It's like 8 to 12 hours. It's really, I recently saw like,
it was an older guy, right?
It's like, I forgot it. I think I saw like a YouTube video on it, or like I read something about it recently. That's where I got the idea. And I was like, well, but it's like, it's at least 8 hours. It might be a day. Like, I don't remember, but either way.
If you don't get 1 hour, you do not belong on the RSM training circle.
You can't plank for an hour. That's so necessary.
Yeah. That's like the Guardian scene where if you cannot tread water for 1 hour, you do not have any business here. Which, I mean, sure, that's probably accurate, but like you don't need to test that.
Probably true, but no need to prove that.
So anyway, I drove a 26-foot long U-Haul all the way across country, and that was certainly a lot of fun. But now I'm back and settling in, starting to build the office up.
How's the little pup? How's Maya?
Oh, the little puppy. We got a little golden retriever that we put in our pajamas this morning. Oh, man.
Dressed mine up in pajamas.
Yeah, dude, we shame that dog. Oh my god.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So today we're gonna cover a little bit about. We're each gonna give 3 of our favorite workouts.
Right.
Sweet. So 3 of our favorite workouts, starting with Cody. Right.
I was gonna do you want to alternate? So we'll do our number 3 and then we'll work our way back to 1.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, or actually number 3.
Number 3.
So I call this my heavy PT with lots of leg exercises. So basically,
great clickbaity name, buddy.
So here's the workout. Basically, what you do is you do like a PT workout. So like this is like a good Friday workout. You do like heavy PT. So you do like maybe like a PT pyramid. So you do like, we'll say push-ups, flutter kicks, pull-ups. You do that, and then you do like a little leg workout on top of that right after. And in the leg workout, we're doing like weighted like lunges. So you do like freaking 5 sets of like 30, 20, 15, 10 lunges with weight as you increase. And then you do like some kettlebell squats. You could do regular squats. I don't do a lot of squats. If whatever.
Do you still not do a lot of squats?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was supposed to teach you that when I was there, but then
I get nervous because I don't want to. It kills my I don't want to build up too much muscle in my legs because it kills my trail running.
I don't know. I think it could be beneficial if you're doing the right amount of reps.
With that lately though, because I built up some muscle over the past like 6 months, but it slowed me down a bunch.
Yeah, you had some big ham hocks when I would notice that climbing. Cody's legs were. Cody's not like the most ripped guy, except his legs are the most ripped of any human being I've ever seen. It's just you see fibers that you didn't know existed. You see veins that you didn't know the anatomy of a human held, and you're just like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Have I never stood on my legs?
But it's killing the trail running game. So yeah. I think we're gonna tone down that a little bit. But if we're training for rescue summer school, this is what we're doing. We're doing lots of legs because you gotta have strong legs for fitting.
Well, that's actually some of my workouts too. So keep going.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you do a heavy PT pyramid, and then like a little quick leg workout, maybe like 2 to 3 leg exercises. Then you go straight to the pool, and you do a long gear swim. So like put the fins on, if you have a Trident, put the harness on, mask snorkel, and you do like a 2,000 meter gear swim. I used to do that like when I was training in the Keys. I'd do that, and then maybe like every 500 meters, I'd sprint like 100 meters in that workout. Nice. So that's my number 3, like favorite workout, I guess, or go-to.
Cool. Mine, actually, my number 3 is basically just an exercise. So I got 2 of these that are like, all you have to do is work out 15 minutes a day, and that's all you need. So this is a get rich quick exercise. So that's my first one. My first one,
like on watch or something.
Yeah, exactly. I got a lunch break. I got like a coffee break. I can knock out a workout, kind of workout. So this is actually just a cardio workout, and I'm going to call this one the Treadmill of Doom.
Treadmill of Doom?
The Treadmill of Doom. So what this is, and I think this is I've thrown up, I think, only once in my airman program training to become a rescue swimmer. So... And this is like every time I would do this though, I would almost throw up. This is not what made me throw up, but it was the second best thing to almost making me throw up. So the Treadmill of Doom is a very simple. All you do is you hop on a treadmill and you set it on setting Doom. And setting Doom is 10 incline.
Nice.
10 speed. So this doesn't work if you have like the European machine. You got to look up the conversion chart, but in America you got 10 incline, which is the max incline. You got 10 speed, which I believe is the max speed, and you do it for 10 minutes. So 10, 10, 10. And the goal ultimately, if you're a super athlete, which I've only achieved this, I would say, a handful of times, but you do 10 incline, 10 speed, 10 minutes, but you do sprints, 20 seconds on. So 20 seconds sprinting, and 10 seconds off, as in you put your feet on the side of the treadmill that's just like winding in between your legs, and you're just like resting. And to be honest, like at the start, you'll go through your first like minute, like or first 2-3 reps. So within like, a minute 10, and you're like, this is potentially doable. But immediately within like past that second minute, you're like, oh boy, I'm in the danger zone. And then it goes through that like marathon cycle of like, I'm never going to make this. And then you get to like your, what is it? What do you call that in marathon running? Like your line, or what is it? Like
you like redlining?
Yeah. You get to your red line. I believe I would get it around like 6 minutes, I think. Or maybe even earlier, maybe 5 minutes. And then you redline for like another minute. And then you get past it and somehow you get into a flow where you're like just accustomed to the torture. But it's very hard. And if you're able to achieve that at 10 incline, 10 speed, for 10 minutes, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, you're a champ in my book. Now, I would recommend, if you're getting into shape, you start with different settings. So if your cardio is really not that great, I would start with 20 seconds off, 10 second sprints for, maybe you start at 6 minutes. For somebody in, maybe intermediate level, I would do 15 seconds sprinting and 10-second rest for, start at 6 minutes and build up to 8 and then build up to 10. And then you can bring it back to that 20-second sprint, 10-second rest for say 6 minutes and then build up to the 10 minutes. Because again, it's pretty brutal if you can get to 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's nice and easy if you have access to a treadmill.
I recall doing that workout a few times in my airman program.
Really? Was that like in the syllabus?
It might have. Something like that was in the old airman syllabus. So like, I don't think it was like as brutal as what you're doing, but it was like a 10-minute, like 20 on 10 rest. But I don't think it was like you weren't supposed to max everything out. But I think like the swimmers were like, dude, we're going to max it out. Yeah. Like, cause you're the airman. Like, so I think we ended up maxing it out. And like, I remember those being really brutal. And the freaking treadmill's just like whirling, like,
yeah, it's kind of obnoxious. So if you're in a crowded gym, you might be that asshole that everyone's looking at, like, this guy. Can you just jog, you jerk? Yeah, totally.
If you're like on a Coast Guard base, like, and they knew, but like if you're just at a normal gym, they're gonna be like, well, this guy's gonna break this shit.
Yeah, because you're gonna be stomping on the machine and whatnot. I remember like setting up for this workout and the swimmers like looking at me like, you in for a treat, kid? I got something for you today. And then I like hopped on the treadmill. They go like, put your feet on the side. And I go like, all right. And he just like started pushing the arrow and like making eye contact with me and being like, and just like the buttons kept going up. I was like, is this guy going to stop? And nope. Every time I would go to the max and he'd go like, next button, max speed.
And it's just slowly rising. Like,
you think I'm bluffing, kid? Yeah.
Like, oh god.
It becomes like rock climbing holds. You're like,
like up it like with your palms.
It's incline. It's like an overhanging wall.
Yeah, those treadmill workouts are pretty serious.
All right, your turn. Yeah. Second workout.
Yeah, this is my number 2. So I call it just PT swim. And I always I love to write this one in for like my coaching students, like once a week at least. But basically it's like, either I'll do like swim 25 meters. So first of all, it's like do like the distance. So I'll say roughly it's like 500 to 1,000 meters, depending on where you're at, your fitness level. So you could do 25 meters, get out of the pool, do like 5 flutter kicks, get back in the pool, swim across, get out of the pool, do 5 push-ups. And you can repeat that. So if you're doing 25 meters, maybe do that for 500 meters and you'll end up doing like 50 to 100 push-ups, depending on if you do 5 or 10. Or you could do 1,000 meters and like every 50 get out and do a flutter kick or do like push-ups. If you have a pull-up bar, you do pull-ups in between. My old pool had like a pull-up bar, so I do like 100 or a 50 meter swim, get out of the pool, do like 2 pull-ups, 50 meters, get out and do like 3 pull-ups, and I like increase it slowly until I like maxed out. But there's tons of ways you can like vary that workout, but it's just solid PT swim.
Yeah, that's a smart workout. That's not something that'll necessarily kill you. It's definitely challenging, but that's one that will grow like multiple aspects of your physique.
That one I feel like is like very in line with what you do at like A school too. Swimmer school,
Well, not just that, since we're trying to expand the rescue swimmer mindset a little bit, like anybody that's trying to develop their cardio while also like developing their muscular endurance.
Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1.
Yeah. And, I think people neglect the fact that swimming is probably one of the best forms of cardio and like less injury prone. And actually, it's almost like yoga but it's developing muscle at the same time. So, you know, like if you guys have ever noticed like swimmers' bodies, like women and men, you're kind of like, you know, every time. So that's because swimming is just such a complete body workout that just develops everything. I remember like doing my master's class and swimming with like 40, 50-year-olds, and like the men and women, I was kind of like, hello. Like, I was just like, they look good, you know, they look really good.
Like 50.
Yeah, they were 50, and I was like checking them out, like, what's up? So, yeah, definitely try to get some swimming in regardless of what, you know, you're training for. All right, my second one, I will go with, all right, I'm gonna go with just my own personal, I have time leg day workout. So personally, it's pretty simple, and I'm sure a lot of people that work out legs kind of have a very similar plan. But mine is you start with front squats. So front squats is a very technical exercise. Make sure you look it up, the proper form. Even experts that have been doing it for years still are always working their technique, and they're bringing back their weights to make sure that form is good. So before you jump into front squats, make sure you have good form, start with low weights. But the exercise starts, or the routine starts with front squats. And personally, I would start with, you know, my warm up of a 45 on each side. And I'll start with 15 reps of that. And then I'll do 12 reps, and I'm slowly increasing weights. It's basically 6 reps. So the first rep is 15, I do 5. Wait, what is it? 5? 1, 2. No, it's 6 sets of, 6 sets. And then the first set, 15 reps, then 12 reps, 10 reps, 8 reps, 6 reps. And then I end at 3 reps. So you're always increasing that weight until like your 3 reps is really your max weight. But again, only do this if you know the proper technique for front squats. Yeah. Then I move into back squats. So back squats, typically, if you don't have like a back injury, which I do, so my back squats unfortunately have been like a little more neglected, or I'm just going lighter actually than my front squats now. But typically most people are strong on their back squats. So I start with the fronts, then I move to the back squats, and I do the same thing. 6 sets, starting at 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, and then 3 reps. And it's really cool because usually, you know, your front squat, you know, can get pretty high at the 3 reps, but then your back squat, you know, is significantly more. So that's kind of cool to see the difference.
Right.
And then I move into, I kind of vary this one up, but I usually do weighted lunges because that's definitely something that if you're training for elite military school or whatever, you're going to do lunges, and that's just a great beneficial exercise that works out your hamstring. So I'll do lunges, 3 sets of 12 reps, and I'll usually increase that weight as well, but still maintaining at 12 reps. Or I do the leg press machine, which just makes you feel like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That's the same as your squat weight, right? Like whatever you can leg press is the same as what you can squat.
Did we talk about that? Did I tell you that story? Did I still tell that story?
I don't know if you did, but I know like that's like the classic thing where like people are like, yeah, I squat this, and then like they're just talking about leg press.
Yeah, I'll tell that story again anyway. So I wasn't present. I wasn't there yet, but Troy Ramsdale, another rescue swimmer who we talked about in the past, he gets a lot of search and rescue cases, tells me this story of an airman. So somebody that's training to become a helicopter rescue swimmer who shows up at the air station, and I guess they're having a conversation in the shop at one day, and the airman goes, you know, you guys, I could squat like 500 pounds. And they're like, this is a scrawny stick-figured guy. Like, I think he weighs a buck 30. And they because I think they were talking about like, you know, you had some heavy lifters in the shop. I think people that were actually doing 300 pounds. And they look at him, they're like, 500 pounds, kid? You do 500 pounds? And he goes like, yeah, I've done 500 pounds. And they're like, that's it. Let's knock off work. We're going to the gym. Let's see a scrawny kid lift 500 pounds. So they go to the gym. So much. They go to the gym and they realize the kid's acting a little odd as they're stacking the weights on this barbell. So they're putting it, you know, and it's in the squat rack. They're putting, what is that? I don't even know. What is that? Like 5 plates on each side, at least something like that. It's probably 5 plates. Yeah, that sounds about right. 5 plates on each side. The bar's already bending on the rack probably. And this kid's like, I haven't done it like this before. And they're like, I guess they don't really pay attention to that comment. So kid racks it up, gets under it, barely lifts it off of the rack. Like, cause dude, I struggle to lift 500 pounds just like 2 inches off of the rack. He's wobbling already, and already like the whole crew knows this was a bad idea. And like before they're even able to tell the kid like, no, put it back. Kid backs up, starts dropping, but like within half a second of starting the lower, just collapses like a deck of cards and just crumbles underneath this bar in like a mangled way. And we're just like the Chiefs and whatever, they're just looking like, oh.
That's so gnarly.
Oh, and I don't think he had any significant injuries. Long term, I know he had some short term, but I remember like Troy just saying, like asking the kid, what were you thinking? What happened? Like, why would you say you did 500 pounds? And he goes, well, I've done 500 pounds. I just didn't do it. Like, I've done it on like that machine. And he points to the leg press machine that's over on the right. And they're like, yeah, so note to self, there's a difference between the leg press and squatting the amount of weight you can leg press. Don't get all cocky, folks. Yeah. All right. So that was your number. That's my 2. Oh, hold on. Actually, but so my workout again, front squats, back squats, weighted lunges or leg press or both. And then I like to end things on a lighter, fun note. I call it like, I guess it's not appropriate in 2020 to call them the chick machines, but that's what I used to call them. So like for example, the leg curler. So you're working like that muscle above your kneecap. I forget the name of that specific muscle. You should know as a runner.
Your quad.
Is that your quad? Yeah. So that
the one looks like a teardrop.
Yeah. So the quad. Yeah. So I would either do the quad machine or the donkey kicker, I call it. So where you're like laying on your stomach and you're kind of kicking up and like above your back. Okay. Yeah, and that one works your hamstring and your glutes. So if you want a nice sexy butt, you use that machine. And then don't forget, definitely, if anything, stretch after leg day. If a lot of people, we all neglect stretching, like unfortunately sometimes. But leg day, if you're going to stretch, you should really do it after leg day, because specifically like if you're getting a little older, what happens is your hamstrings get super tight and it pulls down on your back muscles. Like all everything that runs like along your lumbar. And that's how you start to get those like lower back pains. And like personally, I think that's what developed mine, is just like muscle tension that gets created. So, do a little foam rolling, but definitely stretch out the hamstrings and, around your hip flexors after a leg day, and just, use a ball as well to like really work out the muscle. So if you're not going to stretch, fine, but try really hard to do it after a leg day.
Were you doing that? You were doing that workout, getting ready for Stormer School? Like that was like, you were like, this is my go-to. This is legit.
I'd say I was doing it quite a bit like before my Ironman program. And then I did do it occasionally in my Ironman program. I wish I did it more, to be honest.
Are you saying like once a week or like once a month or? Like,
no, once a week. Yeah, definitely once a week. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like neglected lifting in my Ironman program, and I just stuck to like PT bodyweight stuff. And I think lifting would have helped a little bit with this. Obviously would have helped, but I just didn't do it. Yeah. I
think specifically when you're doing that, like the weighted stuff for any kind of training, it really improves your sprinting. And that's actually something I want to talk about later on the podcast after we're done with our number 1 workout, is sprinting techniques. And you probably have a little knowledge, but I recently read an article that I want to share with you guys. So we'll talk about that. But all right, number 1.
All right, number 1. This is my number 1. So and by number 1, basically this is the one I had the most fun doing, and I think was like probably like the most beneficial as far as like cardio and building endurance goes. So this one would be like also like maybe like a weekend workout, or even like towards the back half of the week, I might like a Friday workout again, just like kind of fun. So it's a run, swim, run. And you can even make it a run, swim if you want. So basically what I would do is I'd like drive up to the pool. And I had like a nice little area I could run like across, like basically like along the side of the road. And it was like a 3-mile stretch. So I could make it like a max of 6 miles. So I would do like varying distances. So a go-to would be like run 2 miles and you finish your run at the pool. Then you hop in the pool and do like a 500-meter swim. And you're doing these at a pretty hard effort, like close to like a max effort, you know? Then you do the swim, hop out and do another run. So you do another like 2-mile run. So that would be like a normal run, swim, run. And then sometimes I'd do like a run, swim, and I'd add like another 500-meter swim. And I think the max I did was like run 3 miles, swim 1,000, run 3 miles. And then I'd swim like another 1,000. And that would be like a long day. And that was like a really enjoyable workout that I thought was pretty beneficial because you kind of do a lot of transitioning in A school too. You don't necessarily go back to running. You know, like in A school, you do like your PT in the morning and you go to the pool. You don't necessarily go back and run anymore during the day, but it was nice to like know that you could and that you had the endurance to kind of last like a long, like 2 to 3 hour workout like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever did anything like that. Just kind of.
Well, I've come to find sometimes it was a little hard to do the like run, swim, like logistically. Like what's your advice as far as that goes?
Yeah, that one's just like, it's like a pool by pool basis. I was in Florida, so like the pools were outdoors and all you do is walk through a gate. So it was easy. But yeah, if it's a winter time, obviously that's not gonna be like a really like, if you're in the Northeast or like anywhere in the North in the winter, you can't really do that, you know? It's kind of, it can get dangerous. You could do like a treadmill, but then it's hard because you got to dry off and all that. Like in Florida, I could just transition, like I could be wet still and just throw some like, I could just wear my freaking swim trunks, you know, and then I could just put shoes on and go run. So that one does vary based on where you're at. If you're like in the North or in the winter somewhere and you can't like transition like that, you can just like increase in transition time. So like 5 to 10 minutes, you know, like just try to like dry off as fast as possible and get in the pool or like get out of the pool, you know, dry off and then get on the treadmill or whatever. Obviously like the lower the transition time, the better, but do what you can. Yeah. And that's something I wouldn't do. Like I do that like maybe like once every few weeks. It wasn't like a weekly thing, you know, it was more like a fun workout. So
the time I would personally do that was when I would do the like helicopter rescue swimmer PT test. So 50 push-ups, 60 sit-ups, 5 pull-ups, 5 chin-ups. And then I would transition into that 1.5 mile run. And this was in Hawaii. So I could just literally, they wouldn't give me much time at all until I would do the 500. I would just kind of jump in the pool because I was wearing a t-shirt already. They wanted you to wear the t-shirt and then transition to that and then the underwater. So it was really like getting into A school because there was that logistics time of swapping gear out. Yeah. My PT tests in Hawaii were definitely harder than the ones in A school because of that. Yeah. Like,
because A school, there's like a process to get in the pool. You got to go in the locker room.
Yeah, and then they call you out, and you're like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm rested now."
Nice, actually. Yeah. Except for like if you're getting ready to go out for like a grinder or like a PT session or like a pool, you know, like water con session, you get like nervous standing in the line there. Yeah. But for a PT test, you're like, let's go. Like we're good.
I remember that, and it, like for all you guys that are worried about some kind of like Navy SEAL PT test or you know PJ or rescue swimmer, it's not that. Like if anything, you should get so comfortable with that test that it becomes your rest day. And when you hear them say that you're doing that today, you're like, oh, thank God. Like way less stress than I thought would happen today. Like, woo.
I used to get stoked. Like, like, all right, we're doing a PT test today. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, let's go. Like, even like, it's just nice. Yeah.
They would always say that intimidatingly too. And we're all like, oh, okay. Oh no, not a PT test.
50 push-ups. I think like towards the end there, they were doing, I think the Coast Guard was testing out like a new PT test for the general Coast Guard, and they used our swimmer class as a test for whatever. So we ended up doing that. So we had a couple days where we just did a random PT test as a test group for the Coast Guard, and that would be our PT for the day. It was nice, but that was after our multi. Like we were just kind of chilling anyways.
Oh, so after a brutal like session thing.
Multi, so like we had already like pretty much passed.
Oh yeah. That's
it was still nice because sometimes they'd still PT us, you know, after the multi and stuff. So
it was nice. Cool. My number 1, Mountain Goat Mile. The Mountain Goat Mile. So this is again one of those get rich quick workouts. So if you're short on time, I believe, with swapping out equipment and everything, it should hopefully take you under 20 minutes. So this is a mostly leg workout, but it does work out your whole body as well. But definitely mostly focusing on cardio and legs. So it's really beneficial if you have a CrossFit gym for this, or backup would be just a large parking lot area. So if you have like a uncrowded Walmart or just somewhere where there's room, you can use that, but make sure it's flat because you'll see why in a second. So I'll just run through the whole like obstacle course, if you will. So this is where why I say CrossFit gym is if you have a sled, that's what the start of this exercise is. So personally, I would put like 3 to 4 plates, so 45 pounders on the sled, and you start by pushing this. And the substitute for that would be you can push a car. Honestly, like it works. It's not that hard. Depending on your car, it's not that hard to push a car. So you push a car and you do that for about, I believe, 100 yards. And then you
push a car for 100 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guesstimate it, whatever, like you think your workout's good. I mean, like, cool. I don't think you have to measure all this, but just keep yourself accountable and do what you feel is like a good workout for yourself. So push a car or the sled, easier. And then you do 20 push-ups. Then you pull the car or the sled, which is easier, on a rope, but backwards. So you would need to tie it to like your bumper or not your bumper, but like the hook, the tow hook. Yeah. So, and then you're pulling it backwards on a rope. So like just managing the slack is definitely a good workout, and it's working your calves and the back of your hamstring. So you're pulling the car backwards. 20 push-ups once you're done with that. Then you're going into dumbbell carries. Those are called farmer carries, right?
Farmer carries, yeah.
Yeah, farmer carries at whatever heavy load works for you. And then you run that 100 yards. So you're just carrying dumbbells like on your side there. Then you do 20 push-ups. Then you sprint 200 yards, do 20 push-ups. You're going to then lunge for 100 yards, 20 push-ups. Then you're going to do frog jumps forward. So like you're frog jumping forward, another 100 yards, 20 push-ups. Then you're going to fireman carry. I used to do it with like a big sandbag that was really heavy actually, but use whatever is heavy that you can put over your shoulders. And then you're going to run with that 200 yards. Then you're going to do 20 push-ups and you're going to run 200 yards to your finish line, wherever that is. If you have a CrossFit gym, hopefully there's like an outdoor area. There usually is. So you can like run your sprints there. And then time that. And again, it doesn't quite matter the specific distance you do, as long as you keep doing that same distance and keep trying to beat your own record. And hopefully you have like a workout buddy. And that's what was fun about this workout. It's like an obstacle course, but you're racing your buddy's time, and you can text him or whatever and be like 8 minutes 10. And then he's 7:30. And then like, you keep going that way, and it's a killer workout. I like would die the first like 2-3 times I did this, but then it progressively got easier, and my time I think I like halved my time by the end of it. So so I'll just repeat it. Mountain goat mile. You start with pushing a sled, then 20 push-ups, then pulling a sled, 20 push-ups, then you do dumbbell carries or farmer carries. Then you do 20 push-ups, you sprint 200 yards, 20 push-ups, you lunge 100 yards, 20 push-ups, frog jumps forward for 100 yards, 20 push-ups, fireman carry, 200 yards, 20 push-ups, and then 200 yards sprint to the finish line. Mountain goat mile.
That's legit. Did you name that?
No, another helicopter rescue swimmer did. Cool. And this guy's legs were, I think he was maybe to this day renowned as the best, like strongest buddy tower rescue swimmer in the world. So nice. In the world,
in the
world, maybe, I don't know. But his ham hocks, his legs were just.
Yeah. What did he squat? What was his squat?
I don't know. He was short though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I won't say his name for privacy purposes, but really great swimmer, great mentor as well, and he's the one that introduced me to that. And I think that was like one of my first days as a rescue swimmer. He had me do that after I worked out with the day swimmers, and then the night swimmers came in, and he was like, "Oh, you the new airman?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Let's go do a workout." And I go like, "I just did, and I almost died." And he goes like, "No, I'm gonna show you this." And he goes, to be fair to him, he was like, "No pressure. Like you don't have to do it, right? like, you don't have to do this. But like, I was like, dude, I'm a new airman. Yeah. So I was, and I was like, so I remember like running with the sandbag on my back. That was like the second to last exercise there. And just thinking, if this is what like rescue swimmer school is like every day, nope. 100% no. Like, I almost quit on the sprint back, like the last sprint back. I almost quit my AMR program on like the second day, just thinking like, I can't like, just because. And the reason why is because I was looking at the future. I wasn't being present to the fact of the exercise or the day, right? I was looking long time, like over the long term. I had 4 months left of AMR program, and I had 4 months left in rescue swimmer school. And I was like, nah, I can't do this every day. Like, I can't do this every day. Yeah. So, what am I reading right now? I'm reading the book. I
know what you're going to say.
Say it.
It's The Power of Now.
Yeah.
I got it right here.
Yeah. No way. There you go, people. By Eckhart Tolle. Check out Eckhart Tolle's book, Power of Now. Definitely, if you're challenging yourself physically in life, you have to be present. But honestly, if you want to be happy in life at all, you have to be present. You can't live in the past, can't live in the future. And I honestly personally struggle with that occasionally. So, it's a good book for me. Every time I'm like, it's nothing you don't, well, I know it is a lot of information you don't know, but because it's a self-helpy-ish book, but it's really actually got like a lot of great like things that you need to reconsider in your life. So
I found like some of it to be like kind of like woo-woo-y, like kind of like too out there, like kind of magical almost. Like, he kind of hits a few chapters where I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But most of it's very applicable. So if you kind of brush off the chapters that are like, I don't know about that, the rest of it, you just like get the general message. It's a great book. Yeah.
There was just like, I'd say overall a great book so far. But there's one chapter, I think it took me like a week to read because I kept passing out after like a page and a half. I think I was reading it too late, but I was just like, I'm out. It's like, some books resonate with you and like some parts of the book don't, so. But I'm not a quitter, so I stuck with it.
I've never heard someone read that book and not recommend it to someone else. So like everyone who's read it recommends it.
So Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Check it out, folks.
We got to put together like a reading list or something for RSM.
Do you guys even read? Do you even read? Cool. Moving on.
Yeah. I was thinking speaking of reading.
Oh, The Hurricane Within. Yeah.
The Hurricane Within by
let's talk about Ashley Leopard. So Ashley Leopard, I actually just interviewed yesterday, to be quite frank with you guys. But we're not going to post it until our next podcast. And Ashley Leopard was a flight mechanic, and I was even more impressed talking to her than reading her book, which was already phenomenal. There's some things I didn't know. And there's also things we didn't talk about that are in the book. So check out the book for sure. But there's some things that she shared with me. I don't even want to talk about that much because you got to check out the podcast, but there's some funny stuff like involving the president, to be honest, she interacted with the president and whatnot. So please subscribe to the Rescue Swimmer Mindset podcast if you want to not miss the funny podcast with a flight mechanic. So that's the person literally holding people's lives at the end of a cable.
And here's the deal. Like, I don't think there's ever even been a flight mechanic. This is definitely me exaggerating, but I don't think there's been a flight mechanic on a podcast ever. Like, no, there has been because freaking they had to go out, but they
have one on.
They for sure have. I'm just guessing. I don't actually know, but I'm gonna say those guys are getting everyone on. But like no one knows what they do, and their job is equally as stressful as ours and requires an insane amount of like groundwork and prep to even get that position. It's very stressful.
Well, yeah, that's actually one thing we talked about is like personally, I'd say every rescue swimmer looked up to flight mechanics in the sense that to us personally, it often seems like they have a lot more responsibility than we do. Yeah. They're really like they're the behind the scenes that are keeping everything like lubed up and working. And I'm not just talking mechanically. Like they're keeping the pilots accountable. They're making sure that the lives at the end of the hook are safe, but they're also making sure the aircraft is still in good condition to fly and is not going to kill somebody. So like I think I talked about mosquito eyes, but I think I meant actually like flies. Like, you know how flies have multiple eye sockets? Like I always pictured a flight mechanic like that. They're like checking the co-pilot, checking down there for the rescue swimmer, and checking the instruments and like everything that's going on with the helicopter, like making sure like it's not burning down. So like, yeah.
It's really impressive.
Yeah. So again, we have Ashley Leopard. That's going to be on our next podcast. Please subscribe to check that out. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be a great podcast. We have some more guests coming on too in the next few weeks. Should we name drop or should we just kind of wait?
Let's say that for the end. So
okay. Let's move on then. Let's do some current events.
Okay, current events. Talk to me.
Yeah. All right. Current events. It's just kind of funny. I just want to talk about it.
This is when people log out of the podcast. They're just like,
oh shit.
You really talked it up there, Cody. Current events. This is gonna be great.
So here we go. This is something I want to see so bad. All right.
Yeah.
Presidential debate. Joe Rogan. So we got Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Presidential debate, 4 hours. Is it going to happen?
I saw that too. Did you listen to the podcast where they kind of leaked this?
I did. So it was Tim Kennedy, he was I don't remember what he did I think he was an Army Ranger, maybe Special Forces in the military. I don't know. I'm not going to I have no idea what branch he was in, but Special Forces. He was like, dude, basically on the Joe Rogan podcast, he was like, dude, Joe.
Were they smoking weed again?
No, I don't think they were. I think he's actually like in the military, so it's something like that. It's like weird. But he's like, dude, Joe, what about you host a debate? And Joe's like, oh. Joe just goes, oh, I don't know.
Oh, dude.
And then eventually like that kind of blew up, I think on Twitter or something. And it came down to like eventually, like this is old news. I'm sure everyone's heard about this, but Trump was like, yeah, I'll do it. So
I think he said, I saw the tweet. I think it's like, I'm in. It was like 2 words. I'm in.
Yeah. And that would be the most listened to podcast of all time.
Oh my God. Well, I think does he have the most listened to podcast or not?
I don't know, but he's definitely
up there.
3,
Yeah.
But that would be the most like insane piece of content ever put out.
Here's my thought on it. No, it's not going to happen.
100% no.
Yeah. And I like I said, like Trump said, he'd be in and that'd be great. And I'm not like leaking who I'm voting for or who actually I can't even vote now. I'm in Canada, so it doesn't matter. But I'm not going to say who I will or will not vote for, even if I were there. But I'll say this. I don't think Joe Biden is exactly geared or I'd say vocal enough to survive a 4-hour plus potentially podcast where they're really having hopefully a civil conversation over that period of time. I just don't think that would be good for him, to be a successful, to have a successful whatever, like have his people vote for him. I think if anything, it might sway votes away. So I think it would be a smart tactic for him not to be on there.
Yeah, the thing with him is like Joe Biden is a politician's politician, he's been in his whole life. And then Trump is just gonna he's like essentially just a marketer / businessman. So he's gonna just I think he would just run circles around someone like Biden,
over that period of time. Yeah. It'd be so good. It would be so good. I would probably sit down, put that podcast on my flat screen TV and watch it from start to end. No distractions.
I would buy a giant bag of kettle corn. I'd have 3 Costco muffins, and I would just sit down and watch the debate.
I mean, who's the vice president again running with Biden? I'm so off politics.
Is Kamala Harris? Yeah,
Kamala Harris. I feel like if anything, they might substitute it for that, Trump versus Kamala Harris.
There's a debate coming up though, a normal debate. So we'll see how that one goes. But I agree. There's no way Joe Joe Biden would ever agree to go on that podcast.
I don't think it's a smart move for him, you know.
Also, just side note, have you seen like the new Joe Rogan studio?
Yeah, the toaster oven.
Yeah, no, yeah, they call it a toaster oven, and then someone else was like, "Dude, it's the inside of Joe Rogan's Traeger grill."
I feel like it's intimidating. I don't think that's like conducive to a soothing. Because I think red, like there's psychological effects of colors, like being like McDonald's makes their restaurant yellow because it creates anxiety and it makes you want to leave faster. So McDonald's is all about turnaround. So they paint it yellow so you freaking get the hell out of there. But there's other colors that are soothing. Red, I don't think it's the most soothing. I think like green is one of those soothing ones, apparently. Like scientifically speaking. Like personally, I love green too. But I think red's like up there, but it also has a little bit of a threat to it. So I don't know why you would necessarily do that because it feels like Star Warsy.
And I'm curious if it was like Spotify who built it out for him, or he had a say, you know?
No, I think he had a say in everything. Yeah, like he does it. Like, yeah, I think he was psyched on it. I just think, it's got his own little imagination. Yeah.
The thing is, he can never say he's not stoked on it because then people are like, oh, you know, like he has to like double down on it, even if he's like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Does he
be like, no, this is sick?
Does he even talk about that like toaster oven looking set?
He never mentioned it.
Like, did you watch the first podcast where he's in there?
Yeah.
He
was like, someone like commented, I think the guy was like, dude, the studio's badass. Like the guest said that. He's like, dude, the studio's badass. And Joe was like, yeah, thanks. Like that was it though. But he's like, he doesn't like mention anything external ever. If you think about his podcast, it's always about the guest in the interview, but he's never external. He doesn't like give you like meta, like data, you know, like he's not like, oh, this is what we're moving. We're doing this. Like he just like does it, you know?
Yeah. Also, his podcast person, right? Jamie, like his podcast, the pull it up guy.
Yeah.
I think I tried to Google search him. I don't think I was able to find a picture of him.
Okay, if you want to actually see what he looks like, so he went on the Tim Kennedy one, the one where the debate was recommended. Tim Kennedy like gives them both a gun as a present for moving to Texas, like a pistol or something.
Yeah.
And Jamie like comes into frame and like receives it and like looks at it for a little bit. So I forget when it is, but you got to find it in the episode. But it's kind of cool. Damn. I hadn't seen him either. I was like, who is this guy? Like, what's up?
What does he look like?
I don't know. I mean, he's just like a normal like looking like guy. I don't know. He kind of looks how you expect him to look. He's like kind of like a little nerdy, you know, like the computer guy. Like, but he's like, I don't know.
How old does he look?
I think he looked like in his maybe mid to late 30s.
Okay.
I'd say. Yeah, which is about what I expected. He pretty much looked like what I expected him to look like.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about sprinting. So the benefits of like weightlifting we've already talked about for sprinting. Like, yeah, maybe for stuff like what Cody's doing, which is trail running, typically longer distances. Potentially sometimes lifting heavy is not the most beneficial thing, but I think still lifting in general could be beneficial for long distances. But let's talk sprinting. Yes, workout with weights. That's one of the things I have here on my list for success in sprints. The other thing, here's a quote that was in this article. Sprinting is more about controlling the chaos that you want to let happen. So again, I'm going to read it. Sprinting is more about controlling the chaos that you want to let happen. So yeah, I think a lot of people with sprinting, they just go ham, you know, they're throwing up like all the limbs as fast as they can forward. Right. And there's just a lot of technique behind sprinting that people aren't aware of. And the fact is you have to control a lot of different moving parts in a very controlled manner for an actual efficient and very fast sprint. So keep that in mind. One of the myths, like Cody, what do you know about like body positioning as far as like vertical versus leaning in sprints?
Okay, well, I think you threw me off here because you said one of the myths, but I'm still going to say what I was going to say. So basically, you know, like if you do like a 100-meter sprint, like if you're running a track, like at a meet or something, you start off in those like the starting blocks, you know, so you start like almost like in a downward position.
Yeah.
And you initially are like leaning forward, like instead of being vertical, you're kind of leaning forward like this, and you use that like force initially like to push off the ground kind of, and eventually you get to an upright position and you're more straight up towards the end.
Great.
That's what I think about. So I don't know if that helped at all.
That's pretty accurate. So the myth is called getting low. So a lot of professional like track runners have a miseducated or saying of get low and keep low in sprinting. And that's actually wrong. The efficient sprinters are like erect. You're trying to actually get to a non like low place as soon as possible when you're coming off the blocks. So the big problem that people do is that sure, you should be leaning forward, but not bending forward. So a lot of the issues are people are bending at the waist, so their upper torso is leaning forward, but then their legs are fairly straight. And that's not a successful sprint. A successful sprint is your whole body, your legs are all in line. And sure, there can be a forward lean, but it's in line with the rest of the body. And that's really going to give you that pushing force and just the success in a well-formed sprint. So that was something I want to talk about. And then, so weight training is definitely going to help because you need that explosive power. So when you train with weights, do explosively. And what I mean by that is I'm a strong advocate of whenever you're doing any exercise on the resistance part of the exercise. So on a squat, for example, lower slowly. You can even hold at the bottom for 2 to 3 seconds. That's fine. But then explode back up. So you're always going, and say for bench press or anything, you're always trying to go as fast as you can up. And a lot of times it won't be fast because, it's hard. You're pushing the resistance up, but try to push it up as fast as possible. And then the other thing you can do is like box jumps and explosive type exercises. And that's really going to help your sprinting out in the long run. All right, Cody, pop quiz number 2 about sprinting. What do you know as far as like where you're supposed to land on your foot?
Typically it would be like on the ball of your foot, like towards the toes, that's what I would expect. And I think, that's what I'm gonna stick with. It's like balls of the foot for the most part for a dead sprint, like 100% effort. So
recent research, and that's why I read this, I read this article is, we often taught that like for sprints, keep kind of on the toes, and you don't actually want to keep on the toes.
Not the toes, you don't, like more the balls, like
yes.
That pat.
Yeah, and you're pretty accurate. You're trying to land at the center part of the foot. So that often tends to be the ball / like, kind of like, the center part of your foot, not the heels, of course. Yes. And that's basically where you're trying to land for sprints. So keep that in mind, folks. And
and that like directly applies to like, because you don't do a ton of sprinting. We do some sprinting in A school, and a lot of times like in my workouts that I write, it's always 400 meter sprints and 200 meter sprints. So for a 400 meter sprint, you're not actually getting up to like a full sprint usually, but for a 200 meter sprint, that's usually like a max effort dead sprint. So that would apply directly to that. And so all those would be perfect. And the lifting makes sense, because you want to like increase that force, your force, like leg force to the ground, like that's what actually is like doing it. It's like freaking using the science, like force equals mass times acceleration. So you're just trying to accelerate faster to increase that force, So that makes sense. You're gonna lift to do that.
And that's why I wanted to bring up this article, is because you recently came out with a program that we're going to talk about now.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So yes, we're talking about the running program specifically, because there's 2 programs that came out recently.
That's right.
So
we'll talk about both, but first running.
The running program, it's not out yet, so I'm going to release it October 5th. It's available for pre-sale right now, but basically right now it's $49, $50 basically, and it's like a pre-order price. It'll go up a little bit after it's released, but it's just a run program, 8 weeks, designed to increase your 1.5 mile run time specifically. So if you're training for like so swimmer school, PJ Pipeline, Buds, they all do the 1.5 mile run. And there's other schools that do that. Some do 2 mile. This isn't a good program for that. If you're doing 2 mile run, probably don't get this program. We'll do something else for that. But if you're running the 1.5 miles, you're trying to get faster, this running program is going to be kind of for you. And it's not going to have any strength training at all. It's just going to be running. So what I kind of want it to be is like, maybe if you're like taking another strength program, like if you're taking Win the Summer, or if you're doing like another program through someone else, basically you're just substituting the cardio in that program for this cardio. This cardio is just going to be like a plug and play thing where you kind of have workouts specifically designed to improve that 1.5 mile run time. Available for pre-sale, go to the website. You can buy it there.
Right on. Dude, Does my audio sound better now?
Yeah.
It does sound better?
It does.
Okay, because my freaking my microphone wasn't plugged in.
Oh.
Jesus. No, I mean, it's all right. We'll have the camera audio, but it's not going to sound as professional as
I got you. Yeah.
Jesus. Does it sound better now? Like testing,
it does.
testing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought when we tested and you said it sounded good, it wasn't coming off the laptop. It's all right. We have it on the
camera audio.
Yeah. So it will just be a little echoey, and we apologize, folks, for not having as professional of a podcast as we could. We'll starting over. Hey, welcome to episode 45 of the Risks Mindset.
I go, okay, end this. I'm out. I go, see you next week.
Yeah. Oh man, we're still in the learning process of the Zoom and everything.
Totally. Yeah, we're doing the whole remote thing here. Yeah, so that's a running program. Speaking of freaking podcast help, if you're interested in donating just to RSM, we have like a donation page on the website. And basically what it is you donate directly to this podcast. So if you go on there, you can enter you click on an amount of money you want to donate, and whatever you enter is going to go straight towards improving the quality of this podcast. So that might go towards, better equipment. Maybe it goes towards like a little checklist that we have, where we make sure everything's plugged in, something like that.
Ultimately better equipment that actually
actual equipment,
automate things,
and we won't make these kind of mistakes, hopefully. Because it's pretty much us being new to podcasting and like trying to figure everything out.
But there's also devices that automate these things that
totally
it doesn't make it like as user error. So and then what we mentioned is we are giving away 20% of those donations to charity to help the Coast Guard out, and families like that of Ashley's if she ever needed it. Ashley Leopard that we have on next week, and Nate Fesky, who we're also going to be interviewing again in the next couple weeks, talking about the Niagara Falls case. So if you would like to donate to the podcast and keep it going, otherwise we're going to stop. No, we're not. Maybe, who knows? So check out the rescueswimmermindset.com on the podcast. Is it /podcast?
For the link for the donations? Let me check. I'll just I'll put
if not, you can just go to rescueswimmermindset.com.
I'll put it in the show notes. It's in the main tab. So it's going to be basically, it's rescueswimmermindset.com/donations.
/donations. So check that out if you want to keep supporting the Coast Guard over here.
So,
great. What else do we have new in Rescue Swimmer Mindset as far as programs? You want to talk about the other one?
Yeah, we can talk about the other one. I've covered it a bit on previous episodes, but it's 60-day mindset. It's a 60-day mindset transformation course. But basically, what it is, it's a kind of like a combination thing where it's like a weekly program that I send you, and it's like labeled Monday through Friday, and like each day you have like a set list of things you got to do. So there's a workout, there's some reading. Normally, I'll do like a big write up, like a little almost like blog post style on each day, and you kind of just read that. Typically, there's some like tasks you have to do that are kind of applied to the write up. You do a workout, move on to the next day. I send it once a week. So right now, what happens is basically when you sign up, you can either pay for the whole thing. I think it's $80 right now, and you can either pay it straight up. Actually, no, it's $99. You could pay it straight up or pay $12.50 per week for the 8 weeks. Whatever works better for you. And there's also like a trial period. So if you want to just see what it's all about, just go on there, sign up for the trial. It's like a $1 1 week trial. And if you like it, it'll just keep billing you after that for the $12.50 a week. And if you don't like it, you just cancel it and you're done. So, and you get a couple free workouts out of it, or $1 workout, so give it a try. Yeah.
Great.
Good stuff.
And still, if you're trying to improve your water confidence, check out the Hold Your Breath Like a Rescue Swimmer Mindset program. I put in tons of hours and days actually creating this program, this video program. So like there's a lot of cinematography in there that there's like detailed visuals to help you out as far as being efficient underwater, whether that be expanding your lung capacity, whether that be your fluidity of motion underwater, your diet even, and actual training program / like to improve your breath holding capacities. As a free diver, that's something I'm definitely proud of, and I've learned, and things I wish I knew going into like these elite military programs is how to efficiently hold your breath. So check that out. That's Hold Your Breath Like a Rescue Swimmer program, and again, that's on our site. All of this is on our site, rescueswimmermindset.com.
Yeah. Cool. Also, don't forget to like just go leave a rating and review on the Apple Podcast page. So far, I think we have like 54 reviews. Let's get 100. Nice. We need to get more. We need more reviews.
Yeah. And what does that do, Cody?
It just basically, I don't know. It's a bunch of like stuff that I don't know anything about. But as you get more reviews and like a higher rating, Apple and like the podcast gods recommend it to more people, and it shows up on searches and stuff. So,
and the more people that watch this podcast means the more people are going to want to be on this podcast that are truly like beneficial to you. So for example, Ashley Leopard came on, and she has interacted with the president and has done rescues in Hurricane Harvey. And down the road, we can hopefully get some, higher accredited folks on this podcast, but that needs to have a bigger audience, definitely, to attract those guests onto our platform.
Yeah, because that's one of the things is like with this podcast, it's one of the initial goals I like had with the whole rescue swimmer mindset is kind of getting a platform for like rescue swimmers, because like pretty much no one talks about it. Like here's a good gauge to know if like people know about you. Has a rescue swimmer been on Joe Rogan? No. You know what I'm saying? So like they're not even in the mainstream. Like you got to get like a platform built up and get some like, because those guys have like some of those like swimmers who have been in for 20 years and like they've seen some like legit rescues. Like those guys have some good stories, so it's cool to get them on there and like get those stories out. And
for sure,
that mindset, so
yes,
that's the goal. That's what we're gonna get to there.
Yeah, we've been speaking about Joe Rogan a lot. Yeah, it's definitely,
we're infatuated.
I think he's kind of known as the Oprah for men.
Yeah.
And I'd say hopefully that's kind of slightly inaccurate, I think, because he has a lot of female guests and they're talking about a whole range of topics. It's not just like manly topics, but I think he is kind of perceived as that. Yeah, it's a great show though. Like you definitely get to learn a lot from that show.
Totally.
Yeah, so we're gonna be the next Joe Rogan podcast, and we need you guys to show support by subscribing, donating, and helping us out, and we'll help grow the community together.
Yes. Starts with.
And next time I'll plug the audio in, and it's going to be even gooder.
Awesome. Much gooder.
Yeah, much goodlier. All right, buddy. Anything else for today?
That's all we got.
All right. I'm not going to say stay safe. Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous.
Yeah. All right.
We'll do some workouts.
Yeah, go work out, you freaking
stop listening.
Hip-eating person.
Okay.
All right,
see ya.
All right. That's it.
We're out.